Exactly, and that's what I wanted to get into. I think atheists, free thinkers, skeptics, whatever, need to be aware of what this Christian dominionist thing is. Can you give Christian dominionism 101 for those in the audience?
Yes, I sure will, and I've narrowed it right down to as clear a description as I can. It's defined in its simplest forms. It's a theocratic approach to Christian faith and practice based on a literalistic interpretation of the dominion mandate given to man by God in the book of Genesis. And all Christians are not dominionists, but all dominionists are Christian. The goal of Christian dominionism is to abolish separation of church and state, to establish the United States as a distinctively Christian nation based upon Old Testament Mosaic law. It is not made up of one denomination, heavily neo-Pentecostal, includes evangelicals, fundamentalists, steeplejack Baptists, and more, most notably known as New Apostolic Reformation Movement. You must be born again, rebaptized, accept Jesus Christ as your Lord and Savior, and must profess to have a personal relationship with Christ. That is a dominionist. All other Christians are not the right kind of Christians.
And what they want to do is take over these 7 mountains of culture, as they call this. And it, when people read this stuff, and even Newt Gingrich on one of his websites is promoting this Christian dominionist theology.
Which is ironic, given that Newt is now married to his former staffer from when he was in Congress before, and announced to his wife while she was doing chemotherapy in the hospital that he was leaving her and to marry his staffer, and that he'd been having an affair with, and never paid his child support. So, yeah, when you see him talking about how we need to get this country back to values and faith, I find it very ironic.
I do too, but I think a lot of people, when they hear this stuff, they think, oh, that's fringe. It's just a pipe dream on these people's parts. But what concerns me about it is that no, it's not fringe anymore. I mean, it's really moving into the GOP, and these people are incredibly organized, especially with respect to voting.
They infested the Republican Party profoundly in 1992. And as near as our estimates can pin it down, there are approximately 80 million Christian dominionists in America alone.
And those 80 million go out there and they vote. And they vote for whether it's judges or, even the simple person who's on the school board. And as we've learned from what's going on in Texas, it's really important to know even who your school board candidates are.
They will send out buses to pick up people and round them up and get them to the polls. Meanwhile, I just heard, in fact, yesterday, yet another story about how progressives want to pack up their toys and not even vote in the midterm elections because they're not happy with how things are going with Obama. And this is how we lose and they win.
Exactly. It's a serious concern. And what is the name of your book that's coming out so people are aware of it?
Palin's America, God, Guns, and Greed.
So watch for that one, folks. Oh, and there was one more thing I wanted to ask you. You guys with Military Religious Freedom Foundation are representing 18,000 people in the military right now?
18,000. We have 18,000 people that we provide free legal service to. These are members of the armed forces across all branches, men and women. 98% of those are declared Christians, but not evangelical, and their primary concern and complaint, and very, very serious ones, is the over-proselytization and evangelizing in the military, not only to our enlisted members by their seniors, but also in representing us as Americans in a holy war, Christians against Islam.
Mm-hmm. And you got an interesting little email today from somebody who said something about there are no atheists in foxholes.
Right, and that's, and we've heard that off and on as kind of a joking remark, but this particular individual that wrote to us today an email is in the Marine Corps, actually, and he is an atheist, and he doesn't find the humor in that, because with that comes discrimination, and I'm sure that your guests know exactly what we're talking about. It is not funny, it is not a joke, and we need to remove those kind of labels.
That's right. And, so with that, thank you, Leah. I'm going to keep you on the line if you want to say, contribute to the conversation as we go.